games, and before we were really doing anything with it, we played video games together, did a lot of music together. And at a certain point, I started making my own sort of solo electronic music. The band that I had been in for years and years and years basically broke up, and that was over. And around that same time, I started doing solo music in a style that's known as chiptune music, where you use old video game hardware and their sound chips as instruments. So basically, I started making my own music using Game Boys, like original old Nintendo Game Boys.
Mm-hmm.
That became sort of my main instrument. You kind of just use it as like a synthesizer instead of playing Tetris or whatever. And Rich loved it. Rich was like a huge supporter of my music really early on. And at the first, I was just kind of doing it for fun. It was like a new thing that I was getting into, and I really thought it was a cool way to play my songs that I had in my head, and just like I really liked the sound of it. And I started playing live shows from Philadelphia in Pennsylvania, in the United States, and I was playing shows in the Philly area. So I was just performing a lot and writing all these new songs using the Game Boy and everything, and like really, really getting into it. And Rich really, really supported it, really liked it. And at a certain point, he, separate from me, he started developing video games. And the first games he made were like these really small little iPhone apps. He had this one that was kind of like a social app, I guess you could say, where
Okay.
it was called Beard Wars. So like beards,
Okay.
where you would sort of you could post pictures of yourself growing a beard. You
Okay.
could challenge someone else to whether their beard was cooler or whatever, and people would vote for which beard they liked better.
Okay.
And I did a little bit of music. I did a little bit of music for that, and he had some other small little projects. Like he had a separate business, and I did a song for a commercial. And at a certain point, we were just kind of like, let's make like a real serious video game. And the original idea was to just kind of make a really small game. It was supposed to take like 6 months to make this game,
Mm-hmm.
but before we got into it, it's a bigger game, and it ended up taking us like 7 or 8 years,
But the
which is a
clever
lot more than
the
6 months.
studio Clever Soft, is that your friend, or you just
Yeah,
assist to the born the beginning of that studio? Did you?
yeah. Basically, that was the start of Calibrosoft.
Oh.
Um, we also, when we started working on this game, Rich reached out to a visual artist named Paul Davey.
Mm-hmm.
His like screen name is Matahan, and Paul Davey did all of the art for EarthNight. He hand painted. He uses like a tablet, but he paints on the tablet, and he hand painted like I don't even know how many tens of. It was a small project at first, and just over the years, it just kept growing, and it was interesting. The first plan was to make it an iPhone app, like it was just going to be iPhone,
Okay.
but we took it to an event called IndieCade, where you show off your indie games, and it was in New York. It was maybe 2016 or 14, and we have a really early version of the game. I think at that point only like 10% of it was done or something. And we showed it there, and there happened to be some guys from Sony there, some PlayStation guys, and they said, "We really like your game. We want to have it on PlayStation." So when the guys from Sony started working with us, the game just became bigger in scale, and we wanted to make it more of a console game, not just an app,
Okay.
basically. And we just started adding more levels and more conceptual stuff and everything, and yeah, it became a pretty big project. Although, interestingly, by the time we were done, the first platform we actually launched it on was Apple Arcade. So it was like full circle.
Yeah.
In the end, we ended up being on the iPhone first anyway. But after just a couple months after that, we launched on PlayStation and then Switch and Steam
But
too.
my question is, after doing that music for that game, did you have a like a recognition in on the field of gaming? Do
Um,
some people just recognize your work?
so sometimes we went to a lot of conventions. we brought the game to E3 and PAX East and PAX West and a lot of like video game conventions in the United States, and we got some pretty good recognition at those events, which was really nice. And I people still message me randomly all the time. I have the CD and I have the soundtrack on Bandcamp. And people download it, and we had like records made that sold out like immediately, which was really cool.
Oh,
But
nice.
yeah, but so yeah, we still get messages randomly from people, but it's not a huge amount of recognition. I think I was hoping that maybe it would lead to some more opportunities, and it really didn't. But that's okay. um, it's it was worth and it might someday. You never know. Like it's not over. I would love to do more music work, but
Mm.
I think after working for so long on that one project, it ended up being like I said, 7 or 8 years or something. I sort of was happy to take a break. Um, it was kind of nice. I actually haven't really worked on a new song in a very long time, um, which is sort of sad because I'm obsessed with music and I have song ideas in my head. I just haven't really put anything down for a while. But also, we put out the game. The first release was late 2019, and it was just before COVID happened. Excuse me. And when COVID happened, I really wasn't feeling inspired. Like I was so I've just been sort of stuck inside, and that sounds like it would be a good opportunity to work on music. But like I really like my music to be sort of fun and happy, and I like to write. I don't like to work on music when I'm like depressed,
Oh no,
and
it's
I don't like to
that's
be.
music. I can tell you the feedback of my feeling when I was playing that game. Your music is a brain happiness.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah,
good. Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I'm going for. Like I'm okay with music having all kinds of emotions. I listen to all kinds of music that
Hmm.
has all kinds of emotions because that's what people do, right? But personally, I just don't. I don't know. I like writing happy music, and it's been hard to feel happy
Okay.
for a little while.
It was really fun for me. You just accept my invitation to do that interview because I was thinking about it to do that like earlier when I was beginning to play that game, and now I just ask you on Twitter, and you just accept, and it's a really honor for me you accept that, and I'm just wondering. Is that that creation do you expecting to do music for video game?
Um, I'm sorry. You mean like more work, more video game soundtracks?
Did you when you start to play music, did you expecting to do some music, some creation for a video game?
I always wanted to do video game soundtracks for sure. I don't know if I ever like thought that I would be in a position where I could. I feel really fortunate that I was able to be a part of this project, and even if I never get to do it again, like we're all really proud of how it came out and everything, and it was an accomplishment. It was it's really fun. Growing up and playing, I had a Nintendo, an NES original, and some of that music is just like fantastic, and some of those games are so good. And when you're like a kid, you don't really think about the people who made them. They seem like they were just kind of like magic.
Hmm.
You know, um, people who made video games back in the 80s and 90s just like really didn't get that much credit at the time. So it's hard to sort of imagine doing it yourself. It just feels like it's just appeared like you just go to the store and buy a video game. Who knows who made it? So it's hard to imagine doing it yourself. But like now that I had been part of a team and I see what goes into it, and I just feel it was really awesome to be able to do it. And I know I can't really talk about our next project, but we're going to be a little bit less involved in it.
Oh, you're
I will
working
still be involved
on
in
a
it.
new project for a video game, right?
Yeah, yeah, we have been working on something, and I'm not really supposed to talk about it yet.
Okay.
But I'm not going to be as involved. I'm not going to do the entire soundtrack like I did with EarthNight, but I'll be involved still. and we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like I'm hoping to do as much as I can.
Okay. And I see on YouTube you did some show for present your creation. And did you do a lot of that kind of show?
You mean like talking about the music?
No, I mean you did some show for present your creation about the music you do for that video game. Did you do a lot of show that kind of show?
Um, I think I understand what you're saying. Just like talking, right? Like interviews,
No, like
or
you present the music you did, like the creation of the music you do for EarthNight. You did a show, right, for that to present that music?
to like perform it. You mean?
Yeah, performance.
I see. So
Yeah.
we had a big launch. We were gonna have a big party when the game came out and a big concert,
Okay.
but it got canceled because of COVID.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it was right. It was supposed to be in like March of 2020 or something, and we couldn't. We ended up not being able to do it. We rescheduled it a couple times, and they all were canceled. So we were
Okay.
gonna have a thing where we were gonna play the whole game, and I was gonna like play the soundtrack live while Rich played it because Rich is like the best player in the world.
Okay.
And it was going to be a lot of fun, but we didn't end up doing it. But we did do that a couple times at some of those conventions that I mentioned. So we would have a booth set up so people could try out the game themselves, and I would sometimes be there like with my guitar, and I would play guitar along with the game while they were playing it,
Yeah,
and
that
that was a
kind.
lot of fun.
Oh,
Yeah, that was a
nice.
lot. I loved that. I love doing that. I think people really liked it too because when you go to a convention like that, there's a million games to try, and it's kind of hard to stand out. But I think things like that, people pay to do more stuff like that.
Okay. Is that with Clever Soft you do a new game? The
Yeah.
music?
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, good. Um, I would like to know, do you do other music for other kind of stuff?
I did a little bit here and there. So the first thing I ever worked on before Cleaversoft, actually, even before EarthNight, I was working with a small team of game developers in around here, and they had this idea for this really. It was going to be a Nintendo DS game. It was going to be on DS, and it was this really weird game that was supposed to be like Abraham Lincoln traveling through time, and he was in all these weird, bizarre scenarios, fighting dinosaurs and on a train and all this crazy stuff. And I actually ended up doing a pretty much a full soundtrack for that. I did like 20 something songs for that, but the game was never released, and I never really released any of the songs either. So I've always sort of been like, I should just put them out. I could put them as a sort of a special compilation of songs that I did because some of them were pretty fun. Like I was kind of proud of it. It was my first real attempt to do a full game soundtrack, and it never was complete. Um, but I did some other soundtrack work here and there, some like educational and sort of like a hospital in the area needed some music for a game they
Oh,
were doing
nice.
for
Okay.
like children with autism,
Okay.
and I did songs for them. And so yeah, a couple little educational things. I've done some like remixes for
Okay.
games. I've done a couple. I've contributed songs to soundtracks here and there, um, but nothing. The Earthlight was the biggest project I've done.
No, that's really nice. And when you was creating that music for that game, how can you how can you explain the process of your creation? Because I remember I spent a lot of time on that game, and always I remember the music. It's the music. The game is that music. Did you play that game?
Great.
Did you play the game?
Play Earthnight?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Did you
yeah.
finish the game?
I, did I? What's that?
Did you finish the game?
Oh yeah, yeah. So actually, I not only did I do the music, I actually contributed a little bit of level design.
Oh, nice.
Uh, I
Okay.
helped design some of the dragon chunks, and I tested a lot. I did all kinds of stuff. I did marketing stuff. I helped us. We had a document that we used to pitch it to Nintendo
Okay.
for launching on the Switch, and I helped make that happen. But music was the main thing I did. But I tested a lot, and I actually became a really good tester. Like I was good at recreating problems. Like
Okay.
if we discovered a bug, I became really good at doing it so we could see what the bug was. So yeah, at a certain point, I was maybe, I was almost as good as Rich. Rich is great. Rich knows the whole game in and out, and he's really good at it. But at a certain point, I was like the second best EarthNight player in the world. I think there's people who are better than me now. But oh yeah, I still play it sometimes. It's really fun. It's a good way to like kill some time. Like if you're waiting for something, you can just I'll still play it every once in a while. But in terms of like how I wrote the music, a lot of it was they would sort of describe, what the level was going to be, like what the type of dragon was.
Mm-hmm.
So the third dragon is the crystal dragon. So they were like, it's going to be crystal and light or whatever. And then, so I sort of kind of tried to come up with a song that captured that sort of like majestic, beautiful sort of atmosphere kind of thing. Um, it was just like at one point we had some dragons that they were cut. We had the idea to have dragons that sort of had different elements. So there was like a water dragon, and there was like a city dragon, and I forget what the other one was. But they would sort of give me these like themes, and I was like, all right, I'll try to make a song that sounds like water.
Okay.
Um, there's that it actually only appears when there's a full moon, like in the real world.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that one. It looks like a skeleton.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Have you seen that dragon? So since that's the moon dragon, I sort of the song for that was sort of inspired by the original Nintendo game, the DuckTales game
Okay.
for an original NES. There's a level that takes place on the moon, and it's like a really famous video game song that a lot of people have covered. It's like one of the most famous video game songs, and I took sort of inspiration from that song and kind of did my own version of that because I knew it was the Moon Dragon,
Oh,
inspired
nice.
by the DuckTales moon level.
Okay.
So I tried to get as much details on what the levels were, so I could create a song that fit. And the EarthNight level, which is like really hard. I made the song really dark, kind of scary and intense. There's all this lightning and stuff happening, and I knew it was going to just be like scary. I think music can do a lot to help set the atmosphere, and I wanted to make that one intense and kind of intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
So
But
whatever I can do to fit.
do you think that the fact of you just participate of a lot of step of the game, it was more easy to create the music for that game?
It's a good question. Uh, it made me more attached to the whole thing. Like it made it more important to me.
Okay.
Um, so I really wanted to do the best work that I could. I wanted the game to succeed as best as I could. And I think I think that translated into me doing like writing the best songs I could. I guess trying my hardest to
Okay.
write music that I didn't want to just kind of like give him a throwaway song that I didn't really like, and just be like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to work on this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I really tried to put as much work into it as I could. And it was just because it really meant a lot. And especially to work on something for 7 or 8 years, you can get burned out, you can get tired of it. But also,
Oh, you work on
I don't know, just like,
7 years about that music.
yeah, the whole game. Yeah.
Wow,
So,
that's a long
so
road.
yeah. And so it can be, you can get sick of it, but you can also, I don't know, just every year it was like more and more important,
Yeah, yeah.
it was like such a large amount of time in my life. So I really wanted it to do well.
Okay. Oh, it's interesting. So I would like to know. So do you live with your music or are you doing something else?
So for a while, I was trying to make music be my main thing.
Okay.
Um, I was doing EarthNight. I was getting, that was like one of my part-time jobs. And then I had another part-time. I worked for a small record label for a little while. So I wasn't just making music, but I was helping sort of the business end of music for a little while. But ever since like 2014 or so, I've had like a side job where I do computer stuff, like website stuff. And then actually, just over a year ago, I started working for Comcast.
Okay.
I don't know if you know that. It's like they're
Chromecast.
a really
Chromecast.
Comcast. Yeah, it's a really Comcast. Yeah, it's a really big. It's like the biggest cable company
Okay. Okay.
with
Okay. Wait, wait,
TV
okay. Yeah.
and internet. Yeah,
Yeah.
in the United States. It's actually owned by NBC. So
Okay.
NBC. Anyway. So I started working for Comcast about a year ago, full time, doing website stuff.
Okay.
No, not completely unrelated to music.
Okay. Okay.
And it's actually been nice, like a nice break. I feel like as much as I love music, as important as music is to me, I was doing it for a while and it was feeling like work, and I wasn't really writing songs for myself, even though I loved it, even though I loved working on Earth Night.
Okay.
Um, you don't want it to feel too much like work, you know?
Yeah.
You want to have fun, you want to
Yeah.
enjoy it, and sometimes I wasn't enjoying it as much as I used to. And also just like the finance, like the money stability
Mm-hmm.
wasn't great.
Okay.
So having a full-time job where I can, I don't have to worry too much about money, and I enjoy the work a lot. I really do.
Oh,
The
that's
people I
nice.
work with are great.
Okay.
Um, I don't really. It's been a complete change, and it's been nice. But I would welcome opportunities to do more music. Although my wife is pregnant,
Oh,
and she's gonna
congratulations!
have. Thank you. Yeah, the baby's due July 1st, so
Is
just a
that your
couple like
first?
yeah.
Oh, that's great. Oh,
Yeah, thank you.
that
So
remember my time when I was I have a daughter 4 years old, and yeah, yeah, I remember that time. Yeah.
yeah, so I don't even know how much time I'm gonna have for music or anything or what. Who knows? The
Yeah, I
future is like
understand.
a
Yeah,
little
family.
unclear.
Family makes time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited, really, really excited. But I don't know. It might be. I feel like the next few years are going to be a little bit less music,
yeah.
which is
But
okay.
yeah, yeah, I understand. But can you tell me if do you know if Earth Night gonna have another extension?
Like more like updates.
Yeah, or another
Um.
and like Earth Night 2. Do you know that?
Oh. I think we're done with updates. So because of Apple Arcade, we actually signed a contract with them that required a certain number of updates over the past few years.
Okay.
And I think the most recent one was this year, and I think we're done for last year. So I don't think we're going to be doing too much more with Earth Night 1. I think we'll have an Earth Night 2? I don't know.
I don't think we're
Yeah,
gonna have Art Night 2, but
yeah.
but
It could be. I don't. Can
could
you hear
be.
me?
Yeah, yeah.
Good. I don't. I wouldn't say no. Who knows?
Okay,
Maybe someday.
okay.
Yeah. I've
Oh,
never really thought about it before.
ah, okay. Ah, that's a real pleasure for me to ask you some question about your creation, and it was really fun to have that kind of conversation with you. And
Yeah, sure.
if you have a chance to tell your friends, I really appreciate that game. Can you tell them?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I will definitely tell them. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much to take that time for me to ask my question. And
Thank
I
you. Thank you for having me, and thanks for your interest in the game, playing.
yeah,
It's nice. It's really nice to talk about it. It's been a while since I've really talked about it because it's been out for a few years now.
yeah.
So it feels like a different lifetime at this point. But it's nice. Thank you so much.